Have you ever wondered if India, a mystical land, home to ancient cultures and philosophies, could have any role in the prophecies of the Bible? Could there be hidden details or little-known connections between India and these ancient prophecies? Join me in exploring fascinating mysteries and lesser-known truths that could change your perspective on history and religion. If you enjoy this deep and captivating journey of exploration, don't forget to follow the channel for more exciting upcoming videos. India, a land with an ancient spirit and one of the oldest civilizations in the world, indeed holds a secret role in God's divine plan, a role hidden in plain sight for millennia. Could it be that the spiritual values and philosophical depth of this culture were ordained by God to become an integral part of the global redemption picture? This question opens up a fresh, mysterious perspective on India's connection to biblical prophecies, a connection that may have been forgotten or overlooked until now. This idea challenges conventional understandings of Christian history and opens up new possibilities for the spread of the gospel beyond known boundaries. Though India is not specifically mentioned in the Bible, its influence may have quietly woven itself into ancient texts. However, the Bible often uses symbolic and metaphorical language to describe distant lands. Some biblical scholars and researchers suggest that certain ancient texts in the Bible might indirectly refer to lands in South Asia, possibly including India, through phrases like the land of the East or the land of spices and incense, and the descendants of Noah's sons extending not only across the Middle East but also into other regions of the world. For example, in Ezekiel 27:15 and 27:22, certain phrases describe merchants trading in precious goods, fine fabrics, spices, and precious stones, which some believe could refer to India, as ancient India was renowned for its spices, incense, and gemstones. According to Genesis 10, this genealogy shows the resettlement of humanity after the Great Flood, and from here, some descendants of Noah are believed to have spread across regions of Europe and Asia. Among them, a branch of Noah's descendants, the lineage of Japheth, is thought to be the ancestor of many distant nations and the Indo-European peoples, possibly including regions that later became part of India. The records of Japheth and his son Javan indicate a particular connection between India and the ancient world, thereby placing this land within the biblical narrative as part of a network of nations spreading across continents. Furthermore, during biblical times, India was known as a vibrant center of trade and culture. Indian merchants engaged in extensive trade along ancient trade routes, and goods such as spices, gold, and precious stones might have made their way to the Middle East. The legendary wealth of King Solomon in 1 Kings 10:22, according to some researchers, could be associated with valuable goods from India, which was one of the prominent trading civilizations of the time. Thus, India seems to have played an indirect role in fostering the economy and culture of the lands mentioned in the Bible. One of the most intriguing stories about the connection between India and the Bible is the extraordinary missionary journey of Apostle Thomas. Thomas, one of Jesus' 12 close disciples, is known for his doubt when hearing about Jesus' resurrection. He only believed after seeing and touching Jesus' wounds. After witnessing the resurrection and ascension of Jesus, Thomas embarked on a distant journey, crossing familiar boundaries to bring the Christian message to southern India. According to Christian tradition, Thomas arrived in Kerala around 52 AD, initiating not only a missionary endeavor, but also a fusion of Christian faith with the deep spiritual culture of the Indian subcontinent. In Kerala, he established some of the earliest Christian communities, including the Maroma Christians. These followers, who still exist today, proudly claim to be the spiritual descendants of Apostle Thomas, serving as living evidence of the early presence of Christianity in India. The presence of the Maroma Christians suggests that India might have been one of the first nations in the world to hear about Jesus from one of his apostles, even before many regions in Europe. Thomas's journey marked not only the spread of Christianity, but also a historic encounter between two worlds of distinct culture, faith, and philosophy. India, rich in spiritual and philosophical heritage, became a place where Christianity took root, creating a unique part of the global religious legacy. But this is where Thomas's story truly becomes remarkable. His journey to India can be seen as part of fulfilling Jesus' Great Commission, "Go and make disciples of all nations," Matthew 28:19-20. In that era, India was on the edge of the known world, a mystical land with an ancient civilization rich in spiritual knowledge. By coming here, Thomas not only carried the gospel far beyond the borders of Israel and Rome, but also symbolized the spread of the divine message to the ends of the earth. Additionally, some Eastern traditions propose the controversial idea that Jesus might have visited India during the lost years, the period from his youth to around age 30, which the New Testament does not document. Apocryphal texts and ancient Eastern traditions suggest that Jesus might have learned spiritual wisdom from Indian sages and absorbed the diverse culture of this land. However, this remains uncertain. Although this is not part of the official Bible, this story has persisted in Christian and Indian cultural traditions for centuries, sparking a thought-provoking idea. Could India's profound wisdom have played an important role in shaping Jesus' teachings? India, with its long history of religious traditions and spiritual diversity, is not merely a nation but a spiritual battleground spanning millennia. This land gave rise to major religions like Hinduism and Buddhism, and is also home to Islam, Sikhism, and Christianity, coexisting in a unique religious ecosystem. Though rarely mentioned in biblical prophecies, India's role may be more significant than we think. Some theologians believe that India's spiritual diversity could position it as an essential player in Jesus' Great Commission, bringing the gospel to all nations before the end times. And this gospel of the kingdom will be preached in the whole world as a testimony to all nations, and then the end will come. Matthew 24:14. In Revelation 7:9, we see a powerful image of a great multitude from every nation, tribe, people, and language standing before the throne of God. This image evokes profound diversity and celebrates every culture of humanity in the end times. With over 2,000 ethnic groups and hundreds of languages, India is one of the countries that most vividly reflects this vision, potentially as an essential part of the prophetic picture of the unity of nations before God's throne. India's vast ethnic diversity and large population place it in an important position, considered one of the final harvest fields before the end times. Although Christianity has faced prolonged resistance in India's history, it has endured and even thrived in certain areas. The Maroma Christian communities in Kerala, present since the time of Apostle Thomas, are living proof of Christianity's resilience in this land. In northeast India, Christian believers also flourish, with numbers growing rapidly despite cultural and political challenges. The colonial period played a significant role in spreading Christianity in India. Merchants, explorers, and missionaries from Portugal, the Netherlands, and England brought the gospel to lands that had never heard of Jesus. Missionaries such as William Carey not only spread the faith but also established schools, translated the Bible into local languages, and contributed to the development of education and culture in India. Although colonialism caused deep wounds and controversy, the missionary movement of that era left a strong legacy and reshaped Christianity in India. 36. The image from Revelation of every tribe, nation, and language before the throne of God could highlight India's role, a nation rich in culture, faith, and religion, within the ultimate divine redemption narrative. However, India remains a land where Christianity coexists with other strong traditions like Hinduism, Islam, and Sikhism, raising an important question: could India play a role in end-time events? Although the Bible does not specifically reference India, the nation's deep spiritual significance and global influence might make it a focal point in future events. India is currently home to one of the largest unreached communities in the world, making it a crucial area for global missionary movements. The question of India's role in the end times remains an intriguing mystery. Although the Bible does not directly mention India in its prophecies, the country's importance in the global spiritual landscape is increasingly recognized. With hundreds of millions who have not yet heard the gospel, India is now one of the largest mission fields in the world. This reflects not only in numbers, but also in the rich religious, cultural, and ethnic diversity, making India one of the hotspots in the spiritual battleground. In the Bible, many nations and peoples are said to be judged based on how they respond to God's truth. This raises the question, will India accept the gospel or continue to resist it, as it has for centuries? India is not only a country of rich beliefs, but also a center for countless deities and religious philosophies. The choices India makes in the end times could be significant, as prophecy states that every nation, tribe, and language will have to choose to stand with or against Christ. In Revelation 7:9, the vision of a great multitude from every nation, tribe, people, and language standing before God's throne appears. This image suggests that populous and diverse nations like India will undoubtedly contribute to this final sacred event. With over 1 billion people and a complex spiritual culture, India might become a center not only for gospel outreach, but also a key part in the final judgment. India, with its rich history and spiritual depth, is not only a symbol of ancient values, but might also be a key in God's prophetic future. From historical connections in the Bible to being one of the first lands to receive the gospel, India has been entwined in God's redemptive plan from early on. India's role may soon become clearer as we move closer to the fulfillment of the Great Commission and end-time prophecies. The spiritual battles occurring on Indian soil seem to go beyond ordinary political or cultural conflicts and may be part of a larger divine plan. Here, a polytheistic culture has developed over thousands of years, with each belief intertwined to create a complex spiritual ecosystem. But could there come a day when this nation returns to faith in a single supreme being? If this becomes a reality, India could become a crucial factor in the final harvest before Christ's return, contributing uniquely to the fulfillment of prophecy. Regarded as one of the final harvest fields, India presents a meaningful possibility on a global scale where the Christian faith could reach the broadest layers of the population. A spiritual awakening in this billion-strong nation is not only a religious phenomenon, but could also be a greater sign of the completion of God's plan. End-time prophecies in the Bible describe the unity of all nations before God's throne. And if India, with its rich spiritual history, becomes part of this return, it will undoubtedly leave a profound mark on the grand story of global redemption. In the Bible, every nation has a role in God's redemptive plan, and India is certainly no exception. Praying and seeking India's place in the prophetic context has become more essential than ever. As time draws near, observing this journey helps us better understand how modern nations, including India, are contributing to God's grand plan. Stay tuned for more profound insights into the roles of nations on the path to prophetic fulfillment. And those are the wonders of the connection between India and biblical prophecies. A nation with an ancient culture, rich ethnic diversity, and a potentially significant role in God's divine plan. Could India become an important part of the final picture when all nations, tribes, and languages gather before His throne? There is still much to explore and anticipate on this spiritual journey. Ultimately, these interpretations often depend on theological perspectives and individual scholars' interpretations, as the Bible does not directly mention India in its canonical texts. So if you have any theories, feel free to share them for everyone to discuss. If you found this video interesting, don't forget to like to support the channel. Follow to stay updated on new content about biblical mysteries and the role of modern nations. Leave a comment below with your thoughts. Do you believe India will play a significant role in future events? We would love to hear your opinions. Thank you for watching, and praise God for the wonderful journey He has led each of us on.